Hello everyone and welcome back into another video. Today we're playing Genshin Impact and we have a new 5-star character, Clorinde. She is a sword user, she wields an electro vision, and her outfit is very cool. So we like that. She is very fun to play, she has some fun little interactions, and she is very good in exploration because she will show you on the minimap on the top left corner where items from Fontaine are. So that's really nice, and her skill allows her to move very rapidly across the map without consuming any stamina, so you can just explore for free and travel quite a lot. But yeah, let's have a look at her kit first. Her normal attacks are 5 strikes, which will deal physical damage. They have very good multipliers, so if you somehow want to build her physical, you can do that, I guess, but of course it's not a thing you should actually do, but it's there. And her charge attack is this attack over here, where she draws her weapon and shoots enemies in front of her in a cone. And by the way, you don't even need to level up her normal attacks at all, because if you're not going into physical damage, all the damage she deals comes from elemental skill and some of it from elemental burst. Talking about her elemental skill, it has a very long description in-game, but it's not that complicated whenever you actually use it. Whenever you activate the ability, you go into the night vigil state, and then you can start shooting with your firearms. There we go. The damage you deal is considered normal attack damage, so keep that in mind. There's also a second part to the ability, which is you can now recast the skill again to do those dashes I was doing before, which are called Impale the Knight. So those are the dashes, and if you combine the two things, you can gain bond of life through your normal attacks, clear that bond of life using the elemental skill again. That way, depending on how much bond of life you have, you gain some health back. So the whole combo and the best combo is doing 3 normal attacks to gain the most amount of bond of life, use a skill, and then just repeat. That's what you want to do. So again, you do 3 of the normal attacks, then you use your skill. And you can do this up to 4 times per rotation. If you want to squeeze the 5th one, it's probably very difficult, and most of the time you won't complete the actual combo, so 3 attacks and skill. But yeah, usually around 4 of those will suffice in dealing a ton of damage. Then you swap her out, refresh your buffs, and start the rotation again. Finally, we have her elemental burst. It's a very straightforward ability. It does deal damage 5 times. That's the multiplier at level 10. Will also give Clorinde some bond of life. The cooldown is 15 seconds and the cost is 60, so not exactly the cheapest, but also not that difficult to actually get back. And it does look something like this. That's the actual burst. It does look amazing. It's very cool, very sick, but yeah, it won't be a major part of your rotation. If you can squeeze that in like before doing your skill combo, so you use your burst and then you start doing, you know, your firearm attacks and elemental skill attacks, that's very good. If you do not do that, don't worry too much about it. It's not that big of a damage loss and also makes the rotation a bit easier. Now moving to her passive talents, she has Dark Shattering Flame. This will just straight up give her some more damage. It's 20% of her attack for 15 seconds, stacking up to 3 times whenever a character in your team triggers an electro-related reaction. That is capped at 1800, and to reach this cap you need 3000 attack on your Clorinde, so keep that in mind. It's not that hard if you're using someone like Bennett, but it's not the easiest thing to do. Then we have Lawful Remuneration. This is insane. It's basically 20% crit rate for 15 seconds whenever her bond of life is at 100% and then starts increasing or decreasing. So that means that whenever we do this, then we do the 3 normal attacks and we start doing that, she gains 20% crit rate. And finally, her special talent is that she shows the location of those resources that are unique to Fontaine on the minimap. It does also work underwater, and yeah, just good to have in general. Let's then talk about her weapons. Of course, her best in slot is going to be the Absolution. It does also look amazing, and it's basically 64% more crit damage, plus an additional 48% more damage whenever we increase our bond of life. So that means after we do this, you know, you already have the max amount of buff the weapon provides. So very easy to trigger, and it's a lot of free damage. Another good option is going to be the Mace Splitter Reforged. This weapon does have the same stats as the Absolution, but the special effect focuses mostly on elemental damage, and it's 12% more elemental damage just for free, plus an additional 8, 16 or 28% more elemental damage, depending on how many Mace Splitters emblems we have. We can have up to 3 of them, and we obtain them through normal attacks, casting our elemental burst, and having our energy less than 100%. So if we do the rotation by activating our burst, then our skill, and then we do normal attacks, we have the maximum amount of Mace Splitters emblems. That way we have 40% more elemental damage. So yeah, it's a solid contender for best weapon on her, definitely. Really, really powerful overall, and if you already have this one because you pulled for Ayaka or whoever, you don't even need to pull for Absolution. There's also the Light of Fodder Incision, which is Alatame's best in-slot weapon. This weapon does have a lower base attack, but does have a lot more crit damage. I think it's 88% crit damage at max level, at level 90. It does also increase our crit rate by 4%, very small amount, but just nice to have. And after dealing elemental damage through our normal attacks, which does activate whenever we are in Night Vigil state, that increases the damage dealt by normal attacks and elemental skill by 120% of our elemental mastery. Of course, this isn't the best because we are not building that much elemental mastery on Clorinde, but if it's your only option, there we go. Luckily, that's not gonna be your only option, because if you're free to play, or not, I guess, but you can just craft the Finale of the Deep from your weaponsmith in Fontaine, and this weapon is the best 4-star weapon for Clorinde. No doubt, it's the best weapon. Does provide an okay amount of base attack percentage as a substat. It does increase our attack by 24% and grants us an additional 25% of our max HP as Bond of Life after activating our elemental skill. We can do this every 10 seconds and it lasts 15 seconds, but the rotation for Clorinde usually lasts around 8 to 9 seconds, so it won't matter that much. In addition, you can gain up to 300 attack just for free whenever we clear our Bond of Life. That means that whenever we use our elemental skill, when we are in Night Vigil state, we gain that buff. If you bought your battle pass and you want to use the Black Sword, this is another good option. It does increase the damage of our normal attacks, and that does increase the damage that we deal whenever we are in Night Vigil state. It does also provide some crit rate as a substat, so it's easier to build Clorinde overall. On the same page, there's the Blackleaf Longsword, another stat stick overall. It does increase our crit damage by a good amount and also increases our attack after defeating an opponent. So unless you're defeating someone, you don't have this buff, which basically means this passive is very niche, but still, it's there. And as the sun is setting, let's move on to artifacts. Okay, so we have a couple choices here. Funny enough, I have all them equipped on her at the moment. We have the best in slot, which is Fragment of Harmonic Whimsy. This is basically the best one you can use. It's 18% attack and an additional 54% more damage whenever we increase or decrease the value of our Bond of Life. So again, after our 3 normal attacks that we deal in the Night Vigil state, we gain this buff. We then have Thundering Fury. This is very powerful if you want to use Clorinde on field more than just her usual 7.5 seconds, because it does decrease the cooldown of her elemental skill by 1 second every 0.8 seconds, so usually you'll be able to recast your elemental skill as soon as it ends. So pretty nice to have, pretty fun little thing to do, and it does also increase the damage of our elemental reactions. Lastly, we have Gladiator's Finale, and as I said like a billion times, the damage done through the aforementioned method is considered normal attack damage, so that means, in theory, I'm pretty sure actually that this is activated. So if you have a 4-piece Gladiator, that's pretty good. It's the same story as it was for Arlecchino. You just use Gladiator because it's easier, and you keep farming your Harmonic Whimsy set. And as soon as you have a good 4-piece, you switch to that one. For now, I'm only using 2-piece Harmonica and 2-piece Gladiator, so yeah, the damage I'm dealing is not even the most, and my stats are something like this. So yeah, it's a very solid build, and if we were to use the 4-star weapon, we would only lose the crit damage and a bit of our attack, but the amount of attack we get after the passive is activated does compensate for the amount we lost. Let's now talk about teams. The best one I have tried so far is this one. It does perform very well, it's very easy to use, and it does use 3 5-stars, I know, but it's a very simple team and it's very nice. You could swap Baiju for Nahida for more damage, but that way you won't have a lot of survivability on your Fischl and Kazuha. Plus, without Baiju's shields, you don't have that much resistance to interruptions on your Clorinde, and that means you can get knocked out of your elemental skill Night Vigil state whenever an enemy attacks you, so not the best. I really prefer having Baiju here instead of Nahida. You can swap Kazuha for Nahida if you want to really use her. The way we have both Electro and Dendro Elemental Resonance. It's basically some free elemental particles and some free elemental mastery, so just nice to have overall. You can swap Nahida for Furina, and pretty much those are the teams I suggest using. Everything else is whatever. You can swap, I guess, Furina for Yelan. That also works. Another thing you can do is go for something like this and use an overload team instead. We have Toma to increase our resistance to interruptions with his shields, plus some okay overload damage if you have him built with Elemental Mastery. Chevrus is of course here to boost the damage of our Pyro and Electro characters with her passive. And if you want, you can swap Fischl with Bennett, although Bennett's circle is not exactly amazing with Clorinde because she moves around a lot. And Bennett's burst is a very small AoE, so not the best. But again, the best team is probably Aggravate and this team over here. Well, there was a lot of talking, and probably some of you already went to sleep, but yeah, that's pretty much her kit. It's not really complicated, but it takes a bit of talking to explain everything. But yeah, let's now have a look at the showcase. And with that, I will see you in the next one. Have a great day. Bye-bye.